you don't actually want a job. I feel like a lot of people understand this, like innately, when you get a job, you're only doing it for the money, right? So it's fucking obvious when I try to make this point. But a lot of people will get stuck in their job. I'm talking 1 to 10 years plus, and then, forget the reason why they got the job in the first place. I'm talking about the people who, you know, got a job to, support themselves in another career or get themselves through high school or college. But then there's a good handful of people who are still in said job longer than they wanted to be and are now like changing or distracting themselves from the thought that I'm supposed to leave this job. Like a job offers you a lot more security. It's like a cushion, like a net, like of protection, which is good, because that's important, but it's like you're less likely to take risk when you're in that much of a safety net. Now, I'm also not saying, go quit your job tomorrow. Don't fucking do that. Like, I'm not gonna pay for your bills. You need to fucking pay them bills. And you don't actually want to work, right? A lot of people will, like, I've seen this so much, like, so many people will, like, gaslight themselves into, convincing that this is the job they wanted to do their entire life and that they're completely content with working the 9 to 5. Like if you ever had a job, right? Why are the managers always telling you, about growing with the company? They always say, if you work here long enough for 10 years, then you can end up growing with the company and you could be a manager. I'm like, motherfucker, no. If you have any dreams or aspirations, like if you were to ask those managers, those same managers that tell you these things, what goals and dreams that they have before being a manager, 9 times out of 10, I doubt it was being a fucking manager. I doubt it, right? So it's like, what reason are you getting the job for? Like, you always have to remember that so you don't waste years upon years of your life, just trying to stay afloat and stay steady instead of, pursuing something that can keep you comfortable forever or set for life and create, generational wealth, whether that's, a business or maybe it's making music, maybe it's playing basketball. I don't really care. It doesn't matter. But what is that thing that you're pursuing? And is getting a job, you know, a launch pad to help you get to that goal, or are you using it just as a safety net, as a fallback? And I'll be quite honest, somebody might disagree with me, but I truly don't think you can achieve all of what you want to do if you're not willing to take that risk. At some point, you're going to have to take the leap of faith and jump off the cliff and hope, not hope, but with supported evidence, go for that goal or dream or aspiration you have. Because if you stay in that one spot in your job forever, if you stay stagnant forever, you'll never go anywhere. And then life happens like this. And then in 20, 30 years, you're 50 years old, and all you have to show for it is some bank statements and a job application and a 401k. So I don't know. Do you actually want a job? You want this shit.